So let's do another production, arrangement, recording walkthrough with a song called Young by the band Parachute. This is a very cool, very pop feeling song. It's a great lyric. There's a lot going on in this it's a deceivingly subtle presentation. It's arranged with a big post-chorus pop hook, hard-hitting section. Let's play it down and get an overall perspective of the song, and then we'll peel back the layers.
I was young, still at home, and my mom would call me down the street, through the trees, and I'd run back towards that sound where I knew thin love was waiting. Caught a flight, chased a dream, never second-guessed it. On the run, didn't stop, saw the edge and had to jump. I still feel like I'm the same kid. So why's the mirror say I'm not? Ooh, baby, seems we're only getting older lately. Ooh, and I think I'm scared that maybe after all this growing up, I'm only good at being young. Met the girl of my dreams. I've never been happier, but I still don't have a clue. Time won't tell you when it's leaving. You just look up and it's gone. Ooh, baby, seems we're only getting older lately. Ooh, and I think I'm scared that maybe I'm only good at being young. Good at being young. I'm only good at being young. Good at being young. I'm only good at being young. But I'll hold on to that feeling, 'cause you never know. No, you never know. Maybe none of us forever meant to let it go. Never let it go. Ooh, baby, seems we're only getting older lately. Ooh, and I think I'm scared that maybe after all this growing up, I'm only good, yeah. Ooh, baby, why'd it feel like I was never changing? Ooh, and I'm just terrified, baby, after all this growing up. Oh, I'm only good at being young. 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 I'm only good at being young.
Okay, great. Love this song. Such a well-written song. It's got a lot of fun things that happen in it. Well, let's just start from the beginning, and we'll just kind of peel it open and get under it and inside it from there. Song starts with a little bit of textural elements and a vocal Will, who's the singer and he's the songwriter, the sole songwriter on this. As you can see, this is a voice memo. This is when he originally was starting to have the concept for the song. There is a little vocal snippet that he recorded on his iPhone.
Dum dum da dum 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 da dum 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 da dum 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 da dum.
And it's pretty sure he sounds like he's outside. So let's hear the intro again.
Dum dum da dum 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 da dum 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 da dum 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 da dum.
Okay, we got the acoustic guitar, obviously, and then there's these. So there's a few elements that make up that plays along with the little vocal melody. Just kind of give it a little color and texture. And then we have the acoustic guitar. This main acoustic guitar plays the entirety of the song. I really feel like that
through the trees, and I'd run back towards that sound where I knew thin love was waiting. Caught a flight, chased a dream, never second guessed it. On the run, didn't stop, saw the edge and had to jump. I still feel like I'm the same kid. So why's the mirror say I'm not? Ooh.
Just wanted to play just a little acoustic guitar and vocal. The song kind of holds up just on its own with those two elements. And so, you know, just to sort of show you that the backbone of the song really is about one instrument and a vocal. And then all this other stuff is just a lot of cool decoration. But the integrity of the song is there. And so we wanted to put the focus on that early in the arrangement and kind of build it from there. And you know, this little intro sort of really sets a very nostalgic and cool mood.
I was young, still at home.
Little keyboard atmosphere to support.
Trees, and I'd run back towards that sound where I knew thin love was waiting.
Because other than some rhythmic elements, there's nothing else going on besides the voice and the acoustic guitar. So we're going to be jumping around here a little bit because there's a lot of tracks and a lot to look at and talk about. But then there's an iPhone beat too.
I was young.
So that is a percussive thing that was recorded early on in Will's demo with his iPhone. And we made a loop out of it. And there's some other loops. They work very nice together.
Never second guessed it.
So let's talk about the way the beats kind of and programming kind of fill things in. We get this kick drum here. Oh, excuse me, that's a little bit of a cymbal crash. Or not a crash, but it's a little bit of a broken cymbal sound. Let's take this out of group mode so we can be a little bit. So the kick drum sound is really comprised of 4 kick drum sounds here. Just just the way they're balanced. I'll go through each one individually. There's a little bit of mid-tone. It's a little bit deeper, still a little bit about mid-tone. There's the bottom end. And that one's got some real thump and attack to it. And it's just the way that they're balanced together. Gives a nice full frequency kick drum with character. It's nice to stack up samples and sort of see how you can develop things and get special sounds. Yeah, it's in sort of saying that, it is very important. I'm just going to zoom in here, that they're kind of in agreement with their polarity and the way the sounds stack up. Sometimes you have to get in and manipulate it a little bit to get them to not cancel each other out. But it's also, to that point, we are using 4 very distinctly different sounding kick drums. So there's not going to be overlap and cancellation. They're there to sort of fill each other out. And this kick drum translates excellent on all size speakers, earbuds, all the way up to big sound systems. And it has a consistent and full frequency presence. So that's something to kind of point out. Now, as the song develops, we add in more kick drums. There's the 808s that are in the chorus. Oops, excuse me, the 808s that are in the chorus. Playing the changes. So one is more about holding the change, and this one plays more of a rhythmic pulse. So they add up quite nice. And then actually the one that has the more of the rhythmic pulse also plays a little bit of the end melody of the post-chorus lick. All right. So as the song develops, the low end develops, and then we also, in the post chorus where the big hook is, we also get this kick drum added in. Really steps it up for that. So when that big post chorus hook hits, the song is pretty chill through the verse, pre-chorus, and chorus. The things that indicate the different sections are the way the chords change, the way the guitar part changes, and Will's melody. Obviously, there's other things that come into the arrangement, but the real big dynamic push is this post-chorus, and that's when this big, heavy kick drum comes in. And it's just like the juiced up steroid version of what these 4 are doing, but it also combines really nice. And so this kick drum is the thing that plays all the post-choruses, post-chorus sections, and actually after the down chorus, it is part of the last big chorus. The last chorus is an up chorus in terms of dynamic. It's very full compared to the earlier choruses, and that kick drum is used there, and then continues through the post-chorus hook. Just creating size and energy. Let's look at, I think we overlooked these. It's a companion that's like it in the same way that we're stacking these kick drum sounds, this high frequency 808. They fit together. So that's like a little bit about the way the kick drums and the low end develops in the programming. There are not kicks that are from a drum kit. We'll get into the way that the drum kit was overdubbed here in a second, we have tom parts and snare parts, and we have multiple passes and multiple patterns that are going on with the snares and the toms, and then we also have. Let's look at these elements here early in the song where we've been talking about that verse kick drum. It's kind of like a trash can lid. Yeah, there it is. Cans hit. And what else do we have that plays the sort of backbeat? We got this verse snare. And see how that comes in the second half of the verse. It's just sort of build things, but when it gets to verse 2 is a short verse. It's a half a verse. It's half of what verse 1 is. That snare drum sound is in from the get-go of that verse. So it's just starting from that very simple little vocal melody, supported vocal melody intro with the guitar. Kick drums come in the verse, and then we've got that sort of trash can playing the backbeat, adding in. Then we've got the snares. Here's a marching snare drum.
On the run, didn't stop, saw the edge and had to jump.
Pre-chorus, we get this what are we calling this? It's kind of like an 808 snare that comes in. There again, just trying to mark the sections and build things up. When we get to the chorus, we have these high 808s.
You're getting older lately, ooh, and I think I'm scared.
Subtle, but they add a nice, cool atmospheric energy. And then in that second half of the chorus, we get the snare drum. So building up, so it's foreshadowing the rhythm that's going to be happening with the snare drums in the post-chorus hook, and it's also got like a filter opening up on it, like an EQ filter that's opening up and bringing the top end in and building that energy. It's a kind of almost like a filter sweep. Building it in the second half of the chorus is leading us into the feel of what's going to happen in the post-choruses. It's all about making sneaky little additions and changing the size and depth of the sounds, and so we get all that by stacking up these snares. Let's look at the hi-hats real quick, and let's not forget that once the verse starts and those kick drums come in, these sort of subtle loops. Let the kick drum be very simple in the verses, just like add that downbeat, beat one of the bars kind of punch. And then we've got hi-hats that come in halfway through the verse in the same way, in the same spot where the snares come in. One sound that's primarily on the right, one sound that's primarily on the left, or leaning left, if you will, but they're different sounds playing the same pattern because they add a nice width that it's stereo, but it's not stereo in the same sound and just sort of being just spread out and sort of being sort of soft feeling across the middle. They're two distinct sounds. And see how much they help they almost make those loops feel a little bit more stereo than they are because of the way the choices that have been made and where they're panned, and just like the sound choices. Let's see, what else can we talk about in terms of the programming and beat development? This we get into an overdubbed hi-hat here, which is played. Johnny, who's the drummer in the band, played this. Now he's continuing the pattern that has been established earlier in the verse in the chorus, but because it's played and it's not a sample over and over again, it has a little bit of feel in the rhythm around the pocket, and it's also played with some dynamics. Adding in a little bit of that human element. And let's see, what are some other sounds that are happening here? There's these little reverse sounds. Different snare hits or percussion hits that are reversed to make those kind of like transition moments happen and kind of pick up the energy. We've got this percussion verb. This is printed reverb. I don't know what the source of that was, but there you go. There's a lot of stuff, and there was a lot of really great contributors to this. Obviously, the band, Will, Kit, and Johnny, myself, Spencer Thompson, Eric Blumel also helped with some of the programming. It contributed cool sounds, and it's just sort of I brought it all together and sort of worked through the arrangement with the band to add a lot of freshness and dynamic to this, which, it's kind of a wolf in sheep's clothing in terms of a simple song that has a lot of good energy, but there's a lot of really subtle moving parts to it. Keep going through here and see what is going on with this percussion clanker in the post-chorus. And we got crashes. This thing's cool. Sort of a stereo rim click loop that was sort of manufactured. I didn't personally do that. I forget who did that. Okay, so then we get to the post-chorus, and then the hi-hats. We keep the hi-hat patterns that we had, but then we're adding the 16th. It's kind of an 808 16th hi-hat, but it also, as you can hear, it has a clap in it as well. It's like a percussion party that as the song develops, and none of it's like so super forward, but it gives you that atmosphere, that party atmosphere, and just a lot of great energy sort of percolating underneath the track. Okay, so we've kind of been looking at the programming and percussion elements that lead us up through the first chorus and the post-chorus hook. So there's a lot to sort of like look and take in there. One final thing. Where was that? What is like this percussion here? I just wanted to check that out. Very subtle, but it's really the sum of all the parts. Let's just listen to all the percussion real quick. Okay, so now you can hear it as we get to the post-chorus. That's when we start to get into the snare and tom-tom overdubs. One cool little thing that we should find and solo up is that very cool drum fill. Oops, excuse me. The drum fill that goes into the posts. It's almost like rototoms or timbales. It's a very cool sound, and it's nice to make fills and transitions with sounds like that. They're just like totally different, totally out of the blue. I mean, even all through popular music recording, that's kind of been a technique that the drummer will lay down the groove, and the drums will get muted, and they'll record like a new fill, or they'll just put a fill over top with like a totally different perspective and sound. It just kind of adds to the excitement and really helps shape shift things. So this is kind of happening. There's a little bit of a rest in the percussion where that happens to kind of really give it a lot of space. Also, something that happens going into the post-chorus is there is a bass drop, which is basically kind of like a sub oscillation tuned to notes that is pitched down, very speeded down to sort of to give a falling off heavy feel. Let's listen to that. So it's like an 808 that's pitch bend down in a way, but there's a few different ways to achieve that. Joey Sturgis has a plugin that we use sometimes called the Sub Destroyer. That is cool. It's very easy to tell it what note you want it to start on, where you want it to finish, how long you want it to be, and voila. Okay, so let's go and check out what's going on with the bass. Okay, so we have what happens early in the song on the bass is that the bass instrument, or instruments as it were, they wait until the chorus to come in. Okay, so there's a few different things going on here. The main bass part is played by Eli Beard, who session musician, good friend of mine. So this is what Eli sounds like. Pretty simple bass part, adding weight and tone and support to the chorus, but really waiting until the post-chorus to really pick up the rhythm. So, and then we have this bass duplicated here. I'll show you why. It's got a pumper plug-in on it, just to kind of give the bass as it comes in. It's got this one knob pumper on it. Just to give us a little bit of that dancey, synthy feel on the bass.
Ooh, baby, seems we're only getting old.
And it's blended in with what was recorded as just sort of a normal electric bass. Now, then there's a sub bass. Doing a similar thing to this, but they work really nice together. They're EQ'd in a way where this one has the lows, and this one is more about some of the. It has lows in it, obviously, but it's a little bit more about. It's not so much about the low frequency weight like this one is. It's more about the tone of the instrument and being a little bit more forward. This is also a sound that will translate to little earbuds, AirPod kind of thing. Where this you're not really going to hear unless it's on a big set of speakers, but that's sort of in the same way that we're using a bunch of different kick drum sounds. In modern music, we're looking at all kinds of different file formats, MP3 things. The resolution gets shrunk down. We're listening on all kinds of different speakers. Want to make sure that you have the layers of sonic and frequency content for the different parts to live together and to accentuate each other. They need to have a good relationship with one another, so that they work together. So that when you're on a playback system where you can hear everything, all the frequencies, that they're not interfering with each other. They really support each other. But if when you're listening on your earbuds, you're not really going to hear this sub bass. This is the one that you're going to hear. But this is here for, to make it sound big and badass. Okay, so let's go to the post here. So let's hear how those 808s, all these 808s actually, how they work with. It'd be really helpful if I took groups off. How they work with what Eli's playing on the electric. They just accentuate the changes, add the weight to the track, and he's playing a little bit more rhythm and just a little bit of finesse in there. Then we get to the second verse, and he wasn't in the first verse. He didn't come in until the chorus, so he's playing up high and kind of cool melodically in the second verse through the pre-chorus.
Dreams I've never been happier, but I still don't have a clue. Time won't tell you when it's leaving. You just look up and it's gone. Ooh, baby.
So he plays this high melodic stuff here in the verse to add a little bit of color and interest, without adding the weight yet. But it's the electric bass. And then we get to the pre-chorus, and then he starts playing the feel of what had kind of come in the chorus. So then that sets us up for the chorus to sort of shape-shift, and the electric bass actually goes away for the second chorus, and we substitute the feeling of what we did on the pumper here with a synth bass. Just more shape shifting and interest, and then we get to the post, and he plays a familiar part. But in this post, it's longer. The part develops.
I'm only good at being alone, but I'll hold on to that feeling. Yeah.
A little bass slide here into the last chorus.
Yeah. Baby. Why did it feel like I was left?
And then then we start getting into taking some rhythmic liberties and making the party grow, making it feel fun. Our 808s are back for the post-chorus. Okay, so that's a little bit about the way the programming and the bass is developing through the course of the song. The sort of synthy feel, this sort of pulsing low thing that we have for the choruses, we shape shifted over the first two choruses. This chorus is like full on. Band-wise, it rhythmically and energy-wise, it feels like the post-choruses, but it's doing the chorus part, and we're just letting the bass play the sort of the post-chorus feel over the chorus changes.
Yeah. Ooh, baby. Why did it feel like?
So we don't need that sort of rhythmic pumping feel anymore, because Now Eli's taken over that feel, and he's playing with it a little bit. He's kind of shifting. He's kind of throwing in some different movement and some riffs. It makes it very, very fun. Okay, so let's get into what's going on. We got toms. So there's these tom slams, which are a programmed component of this part. So there is a tom tom overdub that Johnny did that is similar. It is basically works with the slams. So it's dynamic. It has a human feel to it. There's some room tone, and so the two together kind of add up to this really, this really good presentation of the part. I mean, what's great about samples is they're very predictable, and when you set a pattern, it's going to be the same over and over again. And there's something very nice about that repetitiveness, and in music. There's a lot of things that we really like about repetitiveness in music, and especially dynamically and sonically, and then pairing it with a performance kind of makes it feel a little more real and tangible. Which is great. Okay, so here are, let's turn the groups back on. There's a few different snare things, and I got to turn all percussion off. Yeah, okay, so we have the snare main. Which was a bounce from an early version of the song, and then we overdubbed to it. And you can hear how these two different performances have slightly different mic placing and different room treatment. This one's very distant. The one that I've got soloed here is very distant, and you can hear a lot of the snares happening. This one, on the other hand, is a little bit closer feeling, and you're hearing the sticks a bit more on the top skin of the snare, and they kind of combine real nice. A little bit of a drum corps feel. Because nobody's playing those little crump, nobody's playing those exactly the same, so it just kind of adds a bit of fun and interest. So like all that, let's see, the toms with the tom slam samples, the program snare roll with the overdub sound line. Very, very drum corps, marching band feel. It's a fun thing. And then for the bridge, the snares go away, and we just get the toms go away, and we just get these snare parts. And as you can see, they're not all exactly the same. It feels a little bit loose, and it feels like multiple people playing.
But I'll hold on to that feeling, 'cause you never know. No, you never know.
And something that enters in the bridge to help pick the energy up is these tambourines and sixteenths. And those upbeat tambourines come in halfway through the second post. And the second post, is twice as long as the first one over here, okay? So right here. So we added something to kind of pick the energy up here halfway through when we're doubling that post-chorus lick.
I'm only good at being young. Good at being young. I'm only good at being young.
And just kind of skip ahead here. Something else, we'll dial into the vocals a little bit more, but something that happens here that I heard come in that I just kind of wanted to direct your attention to was this ad-lib comes in. The first half of the post-chorus is the same as the first post-chorus, but then when we double it up, there's a vocal element that's new that comes in as an ad-lib vocal.
I'm only good at being young.
All right, a big part of this. Let's see. Have we gotten through all the rhythmic stuff, like programming drum stuff? I think so. Let me just. I mean, those are the highlights, and kind of looking at the inner workings. Oh, okay. Actually, one final thing before I move on is in the bridge there is this clock, and it fades up. It's the song is about time passing, and feeling young in your heart and mind, but realizing that time is passing and things are changing. So this clock reinforces that feeling in the bridge.
Ooh, baby, seems we're only getting older lately. Ooh, and I think I'm scared, but maybe growing up, I'm only good, yeah. Ooh, baby.
Cool little touch. I thought that was. I was happy with us about that. I thought it was cool. So okay, moving on. There's just a little bit of electric guitar in here. We'll get back to that. What else do I want to show you? Oh, my next thought was, because these saxophones come in the post choruses, which is before we get to this bridge where the additional electrics are. Got these big saxophone. I think the saxophones. Well, turn the all sax off. That's what I'm looking for. There are 3 passes of saxophone. So that's an alto. I think it's 2 altos, or excuse me, 2 tenors and a bari. And then there's also, what is this? So a little bit of I think it's a sample. Yeah. With a bunch of like effect and reverb on it, and they kind of all combine together to do this really, really cool thing. Just a kind of a short, punchy little phrase that plays through and accentuates the rhythm. There's another bit of saxophones here, which is just 2 horns. Just playing like a little rhythmic punches in the bridge.
But I'll hold on to that feeling, 'cause you never know. No, you never know.
Just wanted to point those out. Those are real big part of the energy of those hooks, along with some vocal things. Okay, so in the bridge we've got our main acoustic that's been cruising through the whole song. Just kind of goes away for the down chorus where most of the instrumentation goes away. But then we've got these layered up acoustic strums. There's an arpeggiation actually as well. Let's see.
Forever meant to let it go, never let it go.
It's sort of like Jeff Lynne approach to production. He would just stack up tons of acoustic guitars, and it's just a very cool, really rhythmic, easy sort of feeling, and it has just a lot of life, and it feels really, I don't know, it just feels really summery and easy, cool to me. And I don't know if you guys know who Jeff Lynne is, but he's a fantastic producer. He was had a group called ELO in the 70s and 80s and produced a lot of great music, Traveling Wilburys and George Harrison, and I'm not sure who else, but lots of really great stuff.
I was waiting, caught a flight.
So there's a guitar part that plays in the verses and the post chorus. That was played with an amp sim.
Maybe none of us forever meant to let it go. Never let it go.
Just some simple electric guitars doing just some cool rhythmic texture things to help these sections. And now we're moving on. We'll move on to some of the keyboard elements. Got some B3 going on in here.
Butterfly chased a dream. The edge and had to jump. I still feel like I'm
just lifting that second half of the verse through the pre-chorus, and then we switch over to a different organ sound for the chorus, which is, let's see, take this all keys off. That would be helpful. Just something that's a little bit more standard, some nice held chords to add some texture, and then we get to the post. Similar kind of thing, just a little thicker, kind of a little more bass, low end in it, and just a little bit thicker voicing. And then we also get this second B3 playing that same sound, but picking the rhythm up and giving it just a little bit of energy. Then okay, so now we're getting into some of there's these cool chant vocals. These are some vocal samples we used. See how they go with what the saxophones are doing. They're giving these really cool sounds. They kind of do a cross between what some of the vocal melodies doing and some of what the saxophone is doing. And I think it's just a lot of fun.
On the edge and had to jump. I still feel like I'm the same kid. So why's the mirror say I'm not? Ooh,
This is one of my favorite sounds in the whole song, this little vocal sample here.
ooh, baby. Ooh, baby.
It's primarily heard in the little hole before the chorus drops. And we got some vocal synths, which is kind of like a darker version of this, a little play off of it. It's darker, subtler in the verse, and kind of building up to this vocal sample that I like so much.
I still feel like I'm the same kid.
And these kind of play off of what the very beginning idea is at the top. not the same melody, but it's just it's a sort of inspired by the way that feels, and using those textures to develop a similar feeling, melody contributions through the development of the song. What else can we talk about? Well, we talked about the little voice memo at the beginning. Here's the lead vocal.
I was young, still at home, and my mom would call me down the street, through the trees, and I'd run back towards that sound, where I knew that love was waiting.
So the vocal that I have soloed up now is stuff that was put together from the demo, and we put a lot of effect on it, and this is something I do sometimes, is I will take what was recorded as the vocal as an early version and use it as a background texture for doubles or just to feed effects, and because it really just adds a lot, and it's work that's already been done, and as long as it's still, the lyric is the same, and you can make it fit whatever maybe structural changes, it's kind of a nice addition.
I was young, still at home, and my mom would call me down the street, through the trees.
Just adds a little bit of nice texture back in the background.
I was young, still at home, and my mom back towards that sound, where I knew that love was waiting.
It's kind of filtery. It's got some delay throws on it. Yeah, it's just kind of a cool thing to add in there. Okay, so here.
And young. And young. And young.
So, one little thing to point out is, young is it's kind of a low note, and it's just like it's a low note, and it's actually very difficult word to sing with a lot of note and energy to it, but it is the title of the song, so we really had to make sure that you could hear it.
I'm only good at being young.
So,
And young.
This little snippet here is basically a copied version of this and dropped down so that we could specifically, because when you have sort of two of the same, when you double something, you get 3 dB more, and then this way we had something that was very discrete that we could EQ and reinforce slightly different. It's the same audio as this, but we're able to EQ and manipulate it and balance it a little bit differently to make sure that the lyric really comes through here.
I'm only good at being young.
And you can hear, well, like when your attention is drawn to it, you can hear how kind of young is exaggerated, but in the context of things, it doesn't jump out. It helps reinforce like the most important part of the lyric.
Good at being young.
So that's a little insight into the way we achieve that. And then we got some other synthesizers we should look at. So we've got these hooky parts that are made from vocal samples and vocal chops. Pretty fun stuff, and it's like a real, it's a very cool way to keep the lyrical concept of the song going, kind of chop it up, make it feel dancey and cool, and with all the effects, sort of set it in the background, and let the post-chorus hook be really big and punchy instrumentally, with these sort of very dancey and cool feeling vocals.
Good I'm only good at
It's not something that jumps out at you straight away, but the more you listen to it, the more you hear it, it kind of like it's almost subconscious the way that it sinks in. But if we turn that stuff off, you'll hear how the energy dramatically shifts.
good at being young. I'm only good at being young. Pack the car.
So that's a fun little thing, and that continues. That happens for all the post chorus hooks. Let's see what else we got here. There's just so much little rhythmic texture.
Good at being young. I'm only good at being good.
They're not in the forefront, but they all live really nice together. But as soon as you turn them off, things fall just a little flat. So let's just pile up all these little things that are percolating in the background and have a listen. They kind of all combine to basically play the melody, but it's all parted out, and everything's each track sounds different, panned different effects, different registers, and so it's just bouncing all over the place, just creating a lot of really cool energy. So I think one of the last things that we should check out is background vocals. So let's see what the harmonies are. There's some doubles for the chorus.
Ooh, baby, seems we're only getting older lately. Ooh, and I think I'm scared that maybe.
So there's a double, and then there's an octave. What's going on for the pre-chorus?
I still feel like I'm the same kid. Ooh, baby. Oh, lately.
So it's a little bit of the harmony interval changes a bit through here, but just adds a nice bit of dimension and to the voice, having those voices, those different harmonies happening in there. I mean, it's organized. It's not totally just random. It's arranged, but it's not necessarily just singing a third the whole time. And then there's the ad-libs.
I'm only good at being young. I'm only good at being young.
And the last thing I think I'll point out is, in the same way that the original demo vocals were sort of were chopped up and used to back up the new lead vocal, we did the same with all of the parts that we recorded. We added stuff from the demo.
I still feel like I'm the same kid.
So always consider everything you record a possibility to use. Is there anything? There's a lot in this song. I know I've bounced around a lot. I just, you can go back and listen to the whole tune again, or listen to it online, or however. But this will give you a little bit of insight into all the little moving parts that go into making up something that's, I think, is a lot of fun, and doesn't have a typical structure or amalgamation of instrumentation.